Hi, I'm Sylvia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm speaking about Pluto Moon hard aspects in the birth chart. And the hard aspects between Pluto and the Moon are the conjunction, the square, and the opposition. Now, having one of these aspects in your birth chart, I'm not going to lie to you, is not very, it's not really an easy aspect, to be honest, because we're speaking here about the Moon. The Moon in our birth chart represents our feelings, our emotions, our sense of security, or what gives us security, or what we need. It speaks about our emotional needs that we have. They need to be fulfilled in order to be happy, in order to feel secure, in order to feel protected, in order to feel well. And obviously, the Moon represents the mother or the mother figure, the family, our early experiences in childhood as well. It speaks about our subconscious. And the Moon also speaks about how we react to life, or how we perceive life and the experiences in our lives. From a very subjective perspective. So when the Moon has hard aspects with Pluto, there are some issues here. And one of the issues is the fact that you might feel sometimes that in order to feel secure, you need to control the events in your lives or your life, or you need to control others, or you need to control your emotions, because Moon Pluto aspects, especially hard aspects, means that you have very powerful, intense emotions, and many times these emotions can be quite, let's say, toxic. And when I say toxic, I'm speaking about emotions like fears, deep fears, deep traumas, deep pain, deep sadness, or being very even jealous or possessive sometimes, especially with people who are close to you. So you really need to have a very, let's say, intense and powerful emotional bonds with other people. That's extremely important for you. However, there's something which is like a paradox. So on one hand, you might feel like you need to have a very deep, full, intense connection with someone else, but on the other hand, you might fear that, because it's possible that someone might have hurt you in the past, even, for example, your mom or someone in your family, or you have been abandoned, or another possibility is that you might have lost your mother early on, or your family. That's also very possible. And now you might fear to connect or to get involved emotionally with someone else, because you might fear that something catastrophic might happen. So you might feel like you are pushed into different directions at the same time. And this can be a bit, to be honest, challenging. Another thing which can be a bit challenging is the fact that you cannot let go of the past. Now, the Moon also represents our memories. It represents the past. And when it makes a hard aspect, especially the square with Pluto, it is hard for us to let go of our past, especially letting go of our past pain or past traumas. Somehow it's very possible that you couldn't, let's say, process those hurtful events or those feelings. You haven't processed them somehow. And now this is why you might feel so fearful. You can be fearful to fully even live your life sometimes because you haven't moved on emotionally, basically. You somehow emotionally, on an emotional level, you're still stuck on those events that had a deep impact on you emotionally. It is also very possible that, like I said, maybe you might have lost your mom very early, or your father, or both your parents. Because Pluto also represents death. Sometimes can be literally death. I mean, a physical death. It's not like a metaphor. It's literally a death. But it's also very possible that your mom has gone through some traumatic events when you were a child, and she couldn't be very supportive. She couldn't be there for you. She couldn't provide the emotional security that you might have needed in your childhood. Maybe seeing her pain, seeing her struggles had a deep impact on you, and now you perceive life as a threat, I could say. Or you might perceive that life is not secure, life is not easy, life is hard, life is painful. And this is why you can overreact many times when you go through a stressful period or event in your life. It's also quite possible that your mom was quite positive or jealous or manipulative or controlling. It was always her, it was always about her needs, her emotions, what she wanted, and it was never about what you needed. So again, maybe your emotional needs haven't been fully met by your mom because somehow she always tried to impose her own, let's say, her own will on you. So it wasn't about what you needed emotionally or what you felt, it was about what she wanted. So now it can be difficult for you to express or to fulfill your own emotional needs. You might not even know how to put yourself first. Or you might have felt somehow betrayed by your family or by your mom. And now it's very difficult for you to show vulnerability in your relationships. It might be hard for you to open up emotionally to a love partner, for example, or to get attached. Because Moon Pluto hard aspects can mean that somehow you have experienced the fears of being abandoned. And now it's difficult for you to connect emotionally to someone else because you might fear that somehow you might lose that person, or that person might leave you as well. That's another possibility. So one of the major lessons that Moon Pluto hard aspects people need to learn is to let go of the painful past, their painful experiences, their painful emotions, which are very intense, like I said. And obviously, because Pluto also rules over psychology, maybe some therapy, some counseling, psychological counseling might help for you to somehow process those events that happened in your childhood. Now, Moon Pluto people, like I said, they are very intense, very, very intense. So sometimes they can overreact to to the events that happen in their lives. And this is why you might deal with anxiety, panic attacks, that's also a possibility, depression sometimes. So I think that it's really important for you to work on your emotional well-being if you have Moon Pluto hard aspects.